Hello, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We're about to start. If you want to leave in the chat where you're from and from where you're watching us, we're so happy to have you here today. And we're gonna get started in a few seconds. Also, if you don't mind answering the poll that should appear on your screen, so we get to know you better and we know if you are an existing Real Estate IQ subscriber, and if you would like to have a one-on-one consultation of our services together with a free demonstration of our tools. That would be amazing. So moving forward, we are so happy to have you here today, and we're gonna get started. We are Real Estate IQ. For the ones that haven't heard of us before, we have more than 12,000 registered attendees, more than 500 webinars hosted, and more than 100 keynote speakers. So just in case you are a real estate expert and you would like to be part of our webinars and share your expertise with us, we're always looking for new speakers. So feel free to text us and we will get in touch with you. So let me tell you more about us and who we are. We are a lead generation software and solutions company focused on helping real estate investors like you kickstart their business. So we strive to become the platform and resource to help them achieve their real estate dream. What do? We provide real estate solutions to make deals come true. We offer a suite of lead generation, automation tools, educational content, and additional services to the real estate industry to help entrepreneurs kickstart and grow their business. So this is the streamline of our solutions. We offer off-market leads to find the freshest data mined straight from the card houses daily on our data portal. We also offer events, re-education led by experts, and training on our solutions. Skip tracing, get homeowners' contact information effortlessly. CRM, perfect to track listings and marketing campaigns. Virtual assistants, virtual support for administrative tasks, customer service, and more. Fire, personalized financial checkups and consultancy. EVA, run real estate comps in seconds with our renewed evaluation CMA. CLM, we now provide custom off-market data mining all over 50 states. Last but not least, the membership, tailored plans to meet every investor's needs. So today we bring you this amazing deal of the day, this golden lead to grow your business. You can contact us to learn more, and by scanning the QR code, you will sign up to get the full address and submit your deals to advertise. So I suggest you to don't miss this amazing opportunity and this pre-foreclosure. This is a great opportunity for you. And also, we invite you to join us in our newsletter so you can stay informed with Real Estate IQ's weekly newsletter, get market insights, data updates, and event highlights. All you need for successful real estate investments. So by scanning the QR code, you will join us in our newsletter, so you will receive all the information of our weekly webinars and in-person events. You can also request a consultation, a complimentary 30 minutes in-depth one-on-one demo of Real Estate IQ solutions with one of our experts. So we will walk you through everything you need to know. For more information, you can contact Bracenet at realestateIQ.co or scan the QR code that appears on the screen. You can also follow us in our social media accounts. We're in Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And by using the QR codes that appear below of each icon, you will join us in our community, so you will stay tuned with all of our news and information. And this is the Academy, Learning Made Easy. Here you can find our best webinars and short courses, so you can stream it at any time and from wherever you're based. So log in to stream and log in to learn more. Moving forward, today we have Brent talking about the money multiplier method. And I'm gonna tell you just a little bit about him. And of course, he's gonna give you bigger description of himself. So for the last 10 plus years, Brent has been lecturing to thousands of people around the country on the dynamics of the TMM method and helping individuals break the bonds of financial slavery they don't even realize they are in. So he teaches how to take back control of your financial life, and he has a passionate belief that whether you make $10 per hour or $10,000 per hour, you should know TMM method and have this powerful information to keep control of your own money. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so we can let Brent start his presentation. And I encourage everyone to write down all the questions and concerns you have during his presentation in the chat box and Q&A box, so he's able to answer them as soon as he finishes. So thank you, Brent, for sharing your expertise with us.
Hey, Maria, great. I'm glad to be on. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to share. Can you hear me and see my screen okay?
I can hear you. We still cannot see your screen yet, but let's try and
okay, let's see here. The technology is going to be the hardest thing I do. Let me do this. And let's see if I hit this here. How about now?
Wait. Not yet.
Not yet. I'm hitting screen share.
Yeah, so you have to hit screen sharing and then select the icon of the, oh, now yes.
Now yes, and I hit the
Perfect.
slideshow.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, let me hit the slideshow, and there's my first page, and there's my second page. Yes, do you see both of those?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, good. So we're doing good. All right, very good. All right, I think we got the most difficult thing all worked out, Maria. So very good. All right. Well, thanks for having me, everybody. I'm happy to be here. As Maria said, so my name is Brent Kesler. The name of our company is the Money Multiplier. And there you see on the front page, there's my contact information, my email address, and also our website, themoneymultiplier.com. I highly encourage that you go to that website. We have lots and lots of videos on that website, over 72 videos the last time I looked, and we're constantly adding more videos all the time to the website as well. So I highly encourage you go there and you take a look. So anyway, the Money Multiplier. And again, I'm also down here. I'm located in Port Orange, Florida, about an hour east of Orlando, right next to the Daytona Beach area. And currently, I'm coming to you today from my house in the Lake of the Ozarks between St. Louis and Kansas City. But our home base is Florida, Port Orange, Florida. And anyway, this concept, the Money Multiplier, I first heard about this concept. I was at a conference. Just to give you a little bit of background about me. Again, as you know, I'm Brent Kesler. I'm actually a chiropractor. I no longer practice chiropractic anymore. I owned 5 clinics in the Kansas City area. I sold my last one in 2017. And I have not been practicing in chiropractic since about 2008, 2009. I have been teaching this concept that I'm going to share with you since March of 2012. So just a little over 12 years now. And so when I first heard about this concept, the infinite banking concept, becoming your own banker, I was actually at a chiropractic conference. And I heard somebody talk about this topic, and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, that is really, really cool. But it just seems too good to be true, right? Have you guys ever seen something like that to where you hear something and it just seems too good to be true? Well, that was me back in 2006. So I heard the information, I listened, but then I went home and I did nothing at all with the information that I heard. Because again, I thought it was too good to be true. I went back to my normal life. And then I go back to another chiropractic conference a couple years later in early 2008. And about 10 or 12 of my colleagues that were at the previous conference with me are now at this conference. The only difference between them and me is they actually took the information that they heard 2 years earlier and they applied it in their own lives. And they were coming up to me and they were saying, Brent, isn't this banking concept the most powerful thing ever to build wealth, keep wealth, create wealth, to be able to pay off your debts and your expenses? And to be able to keep control of that money inside of the family, all that money staying in the family without it being leaked out to other people, right? So anyway, everybody was just going on and on. They were basically throwing up all over me about this concept. So I thought to myself, there has to be something to this, right? There's no way 10 or 12 of my colleagues are lying. Maybe one or two, but not 10 or 12. So I came home and I told my wife, it was February of 2008. I said, honey, we have to start implementing this in our life. And it was at that time, February of 2008, I was $984,711 in debt. That's how much I owed the third-party creditors. Now, you're probably thinking, well, Brent, how do you know that number exactly? And how did you even get into that much debt? Well, I agree. Almost $1 million of debt is a lot of debt. I agree that if you live in somewhere like California, that buys you a very small house, right? But in Kansas, it buys you a lot. Well, I had to know the number because that was part of the exercise. So that's how I know it to the dollar. And that debt consisted of my student loans from chiropractic college, the house that I lived in, my house mortgage, my office. At that time, I had two chiropractic clinics. And then, of course, as I said earlier, I have a house on the Lake of the Ozarks between St. Louis and Kansas City. And obviously, if you have a house on the lake, you have to have a boat and a wave runner, right? So have a boat and a wave runner. And as an airplane pilot, you have to have an airplane. So it didn't take me a lot to become almost $1 million in debt. Well, again, I was able to take this concept, I was able to apply it in my life, and I was able to pay that debt off in 39 months, 3 years and 3 months. And all I had to do was add one step in my financial life. So this is very important. I just added one step. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I did not have to change my cash flow. I didn't have to work any harder, take any additional risk, or lose control of my money. I simply added one step in my financial life. And I was able to pay that off in 39 months, 3 years, and 3 months without changing anything else. Now, the concept that I'm going to go over with you a little bit, I did not invent it or create it. There was a guy that wrote this book here named R. Nelson Nash. The book is called Becoming Your Own Banker. Now, R. Nelson Nash, he actually was my mentor. He passed away about 5 years ago in March of 2019 at the age of 87. This man and this book completely changed my financial life. I highly, highly recommend that you get this book and you add it to your wealth building library. I'm not here to sell you a book. I'm not here to sell you anything, as a matter of fact. I'm just here to pour into you this information. But I highly recommend that you get this book. If you want to contact us at themoneymultiplier.com and to get the book, or just go out to Amazon or YouTube or Google or wherever you get a book and buy the book, Becoming Your Own Banker. Now, if you're like me and you have a little ADD going on or just don't like to read books, you can also get a couple hours of audio that go along with it as well. But the concepts and the principles in this book are exactly what I teach. Now, there's another book that I wrote with a colleague of mine named Chris Naugle. And a lot of you guys may have heard of Chris Naugle, especially if you're in the real estate world. Chris Naugle has had a couple shows on TV, one on House Hunters, another one on HGTV called Risky Builders. Um, so again, Chris Naugle is very active in the real estate world. But Chris and I wrote this book, I guess it was about 4 years ago or so, called Mapping Out the Millionaire Mystery. And any of you listeners that would like to have this book, I will email you the e-version of the book. So just send me an email to Brent, my first name, Brent, B-R-E-N-T, at the THEMoneyMultiplier.com. So Brent at themoneymultiplier.com, and I will email you the ebook version. If you really want a hard copy, which you don't need it because the ebook is the same thing, but if you really want a hard copy, email me and tell me you want a hard copy, and all you got to do is pay for the postage on it, which I think is like $4. But again, you don't need the hard copy. You can get the ebook. All right. So just to be clear of what I'm going to be talking about here for about the next hour. That's right. We're going to talk about your money and how your money works and how your money flows and the method to get all of your money back. Before I end today, I'm going to show you how to get every dollar back for every car you're going to buy, drive, and own for the rest of your life. Now, you're thinking, Brent, what does that mean, get every dollar back from the car? Well, let me explain. See, I don't even know you on this call, but I know how you buy cars. You buy cars one of three ways. You either bank finance the car, you lease the car, or pay cash for the car. Either way that you do that, right? Because, right, that's how you buy a car. Because I think you all on the call here are honest and you didn't steal the car, right? Well, maybe a couple of you are a little shady, but most of you are pretty honest. So what you had to do is you had to take the money, you had to give it to the car dealer. The car dealer gives you the car, so he gets the money, you get the car, right? And the transaction is over. Everything is done. That's the way we've always bought cars. Give whoever we're buying the car from the money. They give us the car. Everybody goes home happy. Well, how about if there's a way that you can add one step in your financial life and not only get the car, but also get the money back too? Would that be pretty cool? Well, that's what I'm going to go over, and that's what I'm going to show you. And if you can do this with a car, guess what else you can do it for? You can do it for anything. It's infinite. That's infinite. You can do it for a house. You can do it for a motorcycle, a bicycle. You can do it for a vacation. You can do it for charitable giving. Everything that you do, you're able to recycle and recapture and get all of that money back where that money stays in the family. All right, now, before I show you this, I'm not going to show you this video. Here's homework. So hopefully all of you guys have a pencil and you're going to take notes and you're not going to try to keep it in your head. Just like questions. At the end, I'll answer your questions. I won't answer them for the next 45 or 50 minutes, but at the end, I will answer any questions that you guys put in the chat box or you ask live, however that's going to go, okay? So, but I want you to ask your questions. And guess what? If you do not write down your questions, you will forget them. So write them down. I always say a short pencil is better than a long memory, right? So write those questions down. And I'm going to give you a little homework. And here's your homework. I want you to go watch this video on YouTube. It's called the Backward Bicycle Video. Okay. And after you watch it, it's about 8 minutes long. After you watch it, you will totally understand why I'm having you to watch the video, because the information that I'm going over with you is not what you've been taught about money. It's not what your parents taught you, your grandparents taught you. It's not what your friends, your colleagues, and your coworkers taught you. It is an outside of the box concept, all right? It's not what we've been taught. So keep an open mind as I go through this. You don't have to agree with me. As a matter of fact, I would strongly suggest that you don't necessarily just take what I say as the word of the gospel. No, no, no. Go out and do your own research on anything that I share with you today. And I'll give you a lot of those research places if you're having trouble with finding the research. So, okay, homework item number 1, watch this video, the backward bicycle, and here's what the video looks like.
Hey, it's me, Destin. Welcome back to Smarter Every Day. You've heard people say it's just like riding a bike, meaning it's really...
Okay, now, so there's a guy named Will Rogers, and Will Rogers says the problem in America isn't so much what people don't know, it's what people think they know that just ain't so. So a lot of the things that we've been taught about money may not actually be the truth. So again, keep an open mind as I go through this. We're going to talk about how your money flows, the method to get all of your money back. Like I said a couple minutes ago, before I end, I'm going to show you how to get all the dollars back for every car you're going to buy, drive, and own for the rest of your life. So not only that means do you have the car, but you're also able to recycle and recapture that money. We'll talk about the mysteries of money, the machine. Pretty soon, I'm going to share with you what the machine is to build, keep, and create wealth. It's going to surprise a lot of you when I show you this. We'll talk about the mission, the marathon. Look, this is not a get-rich-quick deal, not at all. This is one step you are going to want to add into your financial life. And when you do add that step, it's going to totally change the way that you are working and dealing with your money. And when you're keeping more of your own money that's going out to other people, it's a world of difference. All right, the millionaire and the movement. Okay. I have 3 calculators on the screen, and I know you guys hate doing math, but I'm going to make this very, very simple. On the calculator on the right, I'm going to make believe that is your own banking account, your own checking account, your own savings account, and I'm going to make believe there's $25,000 in that account, and the bank is paying you 4% interest to leave your money in the bank. Now, look, I know they're not paying you 4% interest, but let's just make believe that you found a really good bank and that bank is paying you 4% interest on your money. Okay? Now, so the thing that you do is you come into the bank, and I'm going to be the banker. We'll just call me Banker Brent. And you come in the bank and you say to me, hey, Brent, I want to take the $25,000 out of the bank that's earning 4%, and I want to go pay cash for a car. And I say, no, no, no. You do not want to take the $25,000 out of the bank that's earning 4% to go pay cash for the car. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make you a loan for $25,000, and I'm going to charge you 6% interest for that loan. Now, if we go out and borrow money from a bank to buy a car, $25,000 car, how long do we normally finance that for? And I said here 60 months or 5 years. Now, it doesn't matter if it's 6 years or 72 months or 4 years or 48 months. I just want you to get the principle here, the concept of what I'm going over. So here's what I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I want you to keep the $25,000 in your bank account earning 4%. I'm going to make you a loan for $25,000 at 6%. And over the same equal time period, in this case, 5 years or 60 months, our bank will pay you more money on the 4% that you're earning than you'll pay us on the 6% that you're borrowing. Now, is that a true statement? In other words, is it possible for you to make more money earning 4% at the same time, over the same time period that you're paying 6%? And no, you guys are shaking your head no, because you're like, Brent, well, that's crazy. If I earn 4 and pay 6 and it's over the same equal time period, I'm actually losing 2%. Well, that's exactly what I thought when I first saw this for the first time in 2006. Because how do you make money earning 4 and paying 6? I'm losing 2. But the banker told you the truth, and let's walk through the steps. So $25,000 loan at 6%, paying that for 5 years. That means your payment is $483.32 a month. Take $483.32 times 60 or 5 years. That means over the course of 5 years, you're going to pay almost $29,000 for that vehicle. $25,000 in principal and $4,000 in interest. Are you with me so far? Now, look at the calculator on the right. That same $25,000 earning 4% over the same equal time period of 5 years or 60 months, you actually have a total of $30,525. Now, here's my question. Is this number 30,525? Is that a larger number than 28,999, or do you guys do math differently than I do in Florida? That's right, it's a bigger number. Well, how can that be? How can you have more money earning 4 at the same time you're paying 6? Well, here's the answer. Look, the car balance you're paying down every month. Yes, every month you're paying it down. So that balance is on a decreasing balance. It goes down. But the $25,000 that's in your account earning 4% is going up. So one goes down and the other one goes up. But our minds are not programmed to think like that. We think if we earn 4 and pay 6, we're losing 2. We have to start learning how money works. All I wanted to do with this little exercise is prove to you that you can make money all day long earning 4 and paying 6. All right, now that I've done that, why is that important? Who cares? All right, I make money earning 4 and paying 6. Why is that important? Well, there is a method to my madness, and let's go there. Now, let's talk about the machine that we're going to use to build, keep, and create wealth. Are you ready for this? It's going to surprise a lot of you when I share this with you. The machine that we're going to use, the vehicle that we're going to use to build, keep, and create wealth is a whole life insurance policy in a mutual company that pays dividends. Now, I wish you guys could see your faces right now, because here's what many of you are thinking, if not most all of you. You're thinking, what? A whole life insurance policy to build, keep, and create wealth? Why on earth would I ever do that? You're thinking I know everything there is to know about life insurance, and I would never use this vehicle to build, keep, and create wealth. Well, let me just tell you, you do not know everything there is to know about this vehicle, because if you did, you would be applying this in your financial life. So why do you think we're using whole life insurance to build, keep, and create wealth? Well, the reason is because this is what the rich do. This is what the wealthy do. As a matter of fact, the #1 purchasers of whole life insurance in the world are conventional banks. Conventional banks own more in whole life insurance than all of their land and their buildings combined. As a matter of fact, since 2013, conventional banks have quadrupled the amount of whole life insurance they have purchased. Now, why do you think banks are buying so much in whole life insurance? Is it because they're stupid, or they know something the rest of us don't know? That's right. They know something the rest of us don't know. So all we're going to do is mimic and imitate what the wealthy have been doing for over 250 years. Because look, this concept, becoming your own banker, the infinite banking concept, it's not new. It's not on trial. It's not being tested. Even though R. Nelson Nash wrote this book, he did not invent the concept. It's been around for over 200 years. Go research people like the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Morgans, the Stanleys, the Barclays. Go research how they've built, kept, and created wealth in their family, right? So this concept is not new. Go research how Walt Disney built Disneyland, how Ray Kroc funded McDonald's, how Pampered Chef got started before Warren Buffett bought Pampered Chef. This is the process and the concept that they use. So don't take my word for it. Go look at everybody I just mentioned and see what the common denominator is of wealth building. Now, let me be totally clear. This is not any life insurance policy. This is not a term policy. It's not a variable policy. It's not a UL policy. It's not an index universal life policy. This is a specifically designed, specially engineered whole life policy that has immediate high cash value. One more time, high immediate cash value. And my definition of immediate is within 30 days. So in other words, when you put money into this policy, within 30 days, you have access to the cash value of this policy. This is not the life insurance policy that you're going to go and purchase from your brother-in-law that sells life insurance. I know we all have a brother-in-law that sells life insurance. This is not that policy. It is a specifically designed, specially engineered whole life policy in a mutual company that pays dividends, that is designed for high immediate cash value. So keep that in mind. All right. Why do we use whole life policy? Because it's what the wealthy use. And I said earlier, I said banks are the #1 purchasers of whole life insurance. If you don't believe that, or you want to check out and see if that's true, go and Google BOLI, BOLI. It stands for bank-owned life insurance, and you will see the hundreds of pages that come up on how much whole life insurance conventional banks actually own. All we're going to do is mimic and imitate what they've been doing for over 250 plus years. So, can we make money all day long, earning 4 and paying 6? We said yes. Let's go back to that. Why is that important? Because look, your checking account or savings account over in the right, okay, that's earning 4%. You see, inside of the policy, you have a guaranteed growth rate. And that growth rate with dividends included is greater than 4%. I just use 4% because I like to underpromise and overdeliver, but it's actually over 4% with dividends. Now, do you think that growth inside of the policy, do you think that's taxable growth or tax-free growth? That's right. It's tax-free growth. And what is our largest eroder of wealth? Yes, taxes. Okay. Why is the 6% important? Well, 6% is the highest interest rate the insurance company will charge you to take a policy loan. So, can we take a loan from the general fund of the insurance company at 6%, keep the money in our own account or earning 4% and make money all day long? Absolutely, we can. And the same thing works if you were you were earning 10%. Let's just say I change this number over here on the checking or savings account in our bank to 10%, and I change the payment interest to the bank that we borrowed the money from to 20%. So this would be 10%, this would be 20%. You still make more money earning 10 and paying 20. But for the method of this discussion today, I'm just talking about 4 and 6% because 4% is the amount of money with dividends. It's actually greater than 4% that you're earning. And the 6%, which is actually lower, is interest that you're paying to the insurance company to take the policy loan from the general fund of the insurance company. So bottom line, can we make money all day long earning 4 while paying 6? The answer is yes. And if you've missed any of that, go back and watch what I just did. And I'll send you, all you got to do is send me an email, brent@themoneymultiplier.com, and I'll send you this whole entire presentation so you can watch it and go over it and over it and over it until you're nauseated and you can't watch it anymore. All right. What is the definition of money? Well, we have to have a definition of money, right? Because that's what we're talking about. Well, money is nothing more than a means of exchange, is it not? Yeah, that's all we do, man, is exchange money. We exchange money for food, food for money, car for money, money for car, house for money, money for house. All money is a means of exchange. We're exchanging it for goods and services. Okay. Do you believe in compound interest? Of course you do. You've been told compound interest is great. Your family, your friends, your colleagues, your coworkers, everybody says compound interest is great. Yes? Okay, well, let's talk about compound interest for a minute. In order for compound interest to work, your money has to sit still. So in other words, I have a $20 bill in my hand. If I want this $20 bill to earn compound interest, I have to take it and I have to put it into the bank and I have to leave it sit there, don't I? The money sits in the bank. So it stops the motion, because if I go get that $20 bill out of the bank, it's no longer compounding, right? So motion is a natural law of God, is it not? Everything is in motion. My lips are moving, my hands are moving, my eyes are moving, right? I ate breakfast this morning. Pretty soon, the food is going to be in motion through my body. How many of you want to eat fish out of a stagnant pond? If you look outside, is the flag blowing? I'm on the lake. The lake's rippling. The boats are going by. The trees are blowing. The birds are flying. Everything is in motion, yes? How many of you went to the grocery store this past week? You went to the fresh produce department, and how many of you actually purchased fresh produce you do not intend on eating? None of you. None of you. Because why would you buy fresh produce if you don't intend on using it or eating it? Because it's going to rot and spoil and be no good. And we just said money and food are equal, right? You exchange money for food, food for money. So you might as well just take a bunch of dollar bills, $5 bills, $20 bills, and throw it away or light it on fire, because that's what you're doing with the fresh produce when you don't eat it, right? So I'm trying to get you to think about what's going on. But we've been told parking the money, compounding it is a great thing. All right. You guys do that in a 401k or an IRA. A lot of you guys on this call, you probably have a 401k or an IRA. Why do you have a 401k or an IRA? Because it's what you were told to do. It's what your parents taught you, your grandparents, your friends, your colleagues, and your coworkers. Put money away in your IRA, 401k. Why are you doing that? So you have more to use later. Well, let me ask you this question. Do you necessarily have more to use later when you put money in a 401k or an IRA? In other words, are there any guarantees of the money that you put in your 401k or IRA? No. There is actually one. There is one guarantee. It's guaranteed that that money will never go below zero. And how exciting would that be if that actually happened? So there's no guarantees. Who's controlling the money? You or somebody else? That's right. Somebody else is controlling it. How long do you have to wait to even get the money when you put it in there without paying a penalty? Age 59 and a half. That's right. Now you might think, well, I'm not paying taxes either. Well, you're not paying taxes today, but you're kicking the can down the road. Are you not? Because whenever you start using that money, you have to pay taxes. So all you're doing is kicking the can down the road, and you're giving up the use of the money. Somebody else is controlling it, and there's no guarantees. Don't take my word for it. Go do the research yourself. I'm just trying to get you to think. Oh, and let me ask you this. I want you to tell me everything you know about your 401k, your IRA, your retirement account. Tell me everything you know. Wait. Don't tell me. I'll tell you what you know. Here's what you know. You know if that account goes up or down based on the quarterly statement that you get. And you may know if it's invested in a low, moderate, or high risk category. But other than that, you guys don't know crap about that plan that you've got that money in, do you? Just trying to get you to think about what's going on. So we said motion is a natural law of God, but we've been taught compounding the money, letting it sit is a good thing. All right. So that's what they tell us. The money is going to sit and it's going to be a good thing. Well, let me ask you this question. I want you to name me one business in the world. You pick any business in the world you want. Name me one business in the world that actually uses compound interest. Who uses it? Just name one business. Well, you guys probably thought of banks. You're like, banks use compound interest. No. Banks don't use compound interest. They pay you compound interest and they charge you compound interest. Here's what I mean. If I took this $20 bill and I highlighted it in yellow and I put my initials on it and I took it down to the bank teller, does the bank teller take my $20 bill? Do they take it to the back room and there's a little box back there that says Brent Kesler, and that's where they put that $20 bill until I come back to get it later? No. As a matter of fact, if I go back to get that same $20 bill in a month, are they going to give me the same one? No. What about in a week, a day, in 15 minutes? No, they're not going to give me the same $20 bill. Why? Because they're moving it. The money is in motion. They're not letting money sit and compound, are they? How much money does a grocery store make if groceries are compounding on the shelf? Nothing's moving. Zero. How much money does a car dealer make if cars are sitting on the lot, nobody's buying cars, and they're not selling cars? Zero. How much money does the hotel make if nobody's checking in or checking out? How much money does the airline make if nobody's flying? How much money does Apple make if nobody's buying computers and cell phones, or Microsoft if nobody's buying computers? How much money does I'm drinking Great Value Sam's Club water? How much money does Sam's Club or Walmart make on water if nobody's buying the water? Zero, zero, zero. How much money do you make in your business if things aren't turning and moving? How much do you make in the real estate business if things aren't turning and moving? The answer is zero. So the big picture here is you make $0 when you let your money sit and compound. No business is doing it, but we've been taught it was a great thing. Banks, mutual fund, insurance companies, right? Wall Street, they're telling us to park our money with them and leave it sit still, but they aren't doing it themselves. If it was so damn good to do that, why aren't they doing it themselves? I'm just trying to get you to think about what's going on. They want you to do with your money what they're not willing to do with their money. Think about that. There's no guarantees. Somebody else controls it, and you don't know jack crap about your retirement account. Now, there's one or two of you on this call that are really highly analytical and you know all about your retirement account. So yeah, there's one or two out of 880 that know about it. All right. Let's go one step deeper. Let me ask you these questions. Is a dollar worth more today or in the future? The answer is today. If you ever forget that, think about how many candy bars you could buy 20 years ago for $1, how many you could buy today. Are taxes going to go up or go down? They've always gone up, have they not? And even if they don't go up, we are taxed on more stuff all the time. If you have a choice to pay tax on the small amount of the seed or the large amount of the harvest, which one would you rather pay tax on? Yes, the small amount, the seed. I agree with all three of those answers. But you are violating all three of those answers by putting your money in a 401k, an IRA, or qualified plan. Because what you're doing is you're giving up your good dollars today to get paid back with non-guaranteed dollars in the future. You're compounding the tax because the tax is always going to be there. In other words, you're kicking the can down the road. And when you do pay tax, you're going to pay it on the larger amount and not the smaller amount. I'm just trying to get you to think about what's going on. One last thing, and I'll drive this thing home and we'll go on to the next part. We just said money is a means of exchange. That means food is money, money is food. Car is money, money is car. Now, the reason you guys put money in a 401k, IRA, or qualified plan is you want to have more money later. And normally you got to wait years to get that till 59 and a half, right? So maybe you're 30 today or 20 today or even 40 or 45 or 50. So you're still waiting a minimum of 10 years or plus, right? Or maybe you're 58 and you only got a year to go. Well, good luck to you. Just hang on for the next year. Do that. All right. But most of you aren't. So food is money, money is food. So let's say we go to the store today. We buy a loaf of bread or a gallon of milk. We bring that loaf of bread or gallon of milk and we bring it home and we put it in the freezer. Are you going to wait 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years or even more to eat that bread or drink that milk? Absolutely not. That would be crazy, would it not? What about a car? Let's say you go buy a car today. Are you going to wait 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years to drive the car? No, that would be ridiculous. What about a house? Would you go buy a house today and wait 10, 20, 30 years to move in the house? That would be asinine crazy, wouldn't it not? I agree. But Why are you doing that with your money? You see, you told me all those things equal money, right? See, people do things with money they would never do with things that money buy. You would never buy a loaf of bread, put it in the freezer, and wait 10, 20, or 30 years to eat it, but you'll put money in a 401k, an IRA, or qualified plan and hope to use it later. I'm just trying to get you to think about what's going on. Oh, but wait, Brent, I'm that special snowflake on the call, and I'm special. I got one of those special 401ks, IRA qualified plans because my company gives me a match. That's what you guys say. They give me a match. Okay. They give you a match. Well, first of all, let me ask you this. How can the match be guaranteed if the principal's not even guaranteed? But that's okay. Let's go with your theory and you get a match. So we said food is money, money is food. So here's what the match means. So now we're going to go buy a loaf of bread. We're going to put it in the freezer. And then 10, 20, 25 years down the road or even longer, we open up the freezer and guess what's in there is 2 loaves of bread. You got your match. How much better is that second loaf of bread going to taste 25 years from now? You are correct. It will still be freezer burned. Just trying to get you to think about what's going on. Okay, let's talk about how a bank works. This is how your bank works, okay? So let's say you have $100,000 of your money. Don't get hung up in the amount. It could be $1 or $1 million. You put that money into the bank. Now, I'm going to say you found a really good bank and that bank is paying you 4% interest on the money. I know they're not, but you found the good bank. Well, every time you put money into that bank, your money becomes a liability to the bank because the bank owes you interest. How does the bank take your money, that liability? How do they take your money and turn it into an asset? They loan it. That's what banks do. They're in the lending business. So they take the money that you put there and they loan it out. Who do they loan it to? They loan it back to you. Watch this. Who on this call, besides myself, has ever went to a bank to borrow money to buy a house? Yeah. So let's just say that house loan is 7%. Don't get caught up in the numbers. I want you to get the concept. So if you go to the bank to borrow money from the bank, are you expected to pay the bank back with interest? Absolutely you are. Okay. So who's in control of that transaction? That's right, the bank. Okay. Now, how about a car? Who on the call has ever went to a bank to borrow money to buy a car? Yep, me too. So let's call that 8%. Well, if you borrow money from a bank to buy a car, are you expected to pay the bank back with interest? Absolutely. So who's in control of that transaction? And then what about a house remodel? Let's say you want to do new granite countertops, a swimming pool, a patio, a deck, a new roof, whatever it is, a home remodel. You borrow that money out from a bank, maybe a home equity line of credit, let's call it 9%. Well, that money has to go back in the banking system. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, are you seeing what's happening here? All money does in a bank, it flows in, flows out, flows in, flows out, flows in, flows out, right? That's why that $20 bill that I have highlighted in my initials on it is no longer there when I go back a half hour later to get the same $20 bill because it is in motion and is not sitting still like they're telling you to let your money sit still. They're not doing what they tell you to do. All right, finally, let's do a debt consolidation loan, pay off the credit cards. Let's call that 12%. The money goes back in the banking system. Who is in control of every one of these transactions? The bank. Well, let's see how well you did and how well the bank did. Remember, I said you found a really good bank that's paying you 4% on the money that you're leaving with them. Well, the bank is going to take your money, which you're the depositor, and they're going to loan out the money back to you or somebody that wants to buy a house at 7%. So the bank made 7 and you made 4. How much more did the bank make than you? 3. What about the car? The bank made 8, you made 4. 8 minus 4 is what? 4. What about the house remodel? 9 minus 4 is 5. They get a little harder. Debt consolidation, 12 minus 4 is 8. So the bank made 20% and you made 4%. The bank made $20 and you made $4. How much more did the bank make than you? Well, you're thinking, well, Brent, that's easy. $16, 16%. Close. What about 500% more than you? Look, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you made $4 or 4% and the bank made $20 or 20%, didn't the bank make 5 times the amount of money that you made? Yes, they did. Now, I know you're thinking, Brent, how do I know that's really true? I hear you flapping your gums and moving your lips. How do I really know banks are making 500% on the money I leave with them? Well, again, don't take my word for it. Go do your own research. Go look at BauerFinancial.com, BAUER, BauerFinancial.com. You can pull up the annual report from any bank that you want. It could be a small town bank or a big bank that we all know the name of. And you can get that annual report from this year, last year, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I don't care what year you get it from, and you will see banks make no less than 400% annually on the money that you leave there each and every year. I challenge you to do this. I've been teaching this same slide now for 12 years and 2 months. And I ask every group that I talk to go to BauerFinancial.com, find me a bank that makes less than 400% annually on the money that you leave there. Bring me the information and I will change my presentation and give you credit for it. Nobody has ever done that yet. Maybe you'll be the first group. I hope so. I hope somebody proves me wrong. So, all I want you to do is to be the banker in your own life because you're doing all of this anyway, are you not? Who's getting all of your money? Oh, and by the way, how much risk did the bank take to make all of these transactions? How much risk did the bank really take? Well, not a lot because whose money did they use? They used your money. So by using your money, they take very little, practically no risk. Now, I will agree, interest rate offsets risk. In other words, the higher risk that you are as a borrower, the higher interest rate you will be charged for a loan. But if you're too high of a risk, is the bank going to loan you money anyway? No. I'm just trying to get you to think about what's going on, and I want you to be the banker in your own life. Okay, there it is. There's that report, BauerFinancial.com. Go research all the banks, any banks. Email me, Brent@themoneymultiplier.com. Tell me what you find out. I'm curious to see what you find that I have not found in the last 12 years and 2 months. Okay, I'm going to skip this part for time. Any part that I skip, I can show you how you can watch everything in its entirety. The last major part I'm going to go over is now I'm going to show you how to get all the money back on all the cars you're going to buy, drive, and own for the rest of your life. So what that means is not only do you get the car, but you're also able to recycle and recapture that money. There's a lot of numbers on the screen. I'll make it easy to follow. You'll be able to watch this again, so you'll be able to go over it in nauseating detail until you've had enough of it. Let me give you the numbers breaking down here and make it easy to follow. First of all, remember what the machine is. The machine is a whole life policy and a mutual company that pays dividends. That is the machine that we're using to build, keep, and create wealth. If there's any other vehicle, machine, or tool on the planet that has these features and benefits that allows you to do this, please text me or email me and tell me what that is, because I've been looking now since 2008. I've been looking for that. So what is that, about 16, 17 years? I've been looking and nobody's been able to show me another vehicle. But maybe you have it and I just haven't seen it, but I want to know it if you got it. Okay. So we're going to put premiums into the policy. We're going to pay premium into the life insurance policy. And in this example, this person is going to put in $10,000 a year for 7 years. Now, don't freak out on me and say, oh my gosh, $10,000 a year, that's crazy. That is the example I'm using. If you don't like the number, take off a 0. If the number's too large, times it by 2 or add a 0. You will decide yourself how much you want to put in to your policy. I have over 13,000 clients in every state of this country. I have never, ever, ever told anybody how much money to put in policy premium. You decide how much you want to put in. You decide how often you want to put it in, whether it's monthly, quarterly, twice a year, annually. And you decide if you ever want to lower the amount that you're putting in. It's totally up to you. You make the decision because you are in control. There's no right or wrong answer. All right. Age doesn't matter and death benefit doesn't matter. So the death benefit on this policy is the icing on the cake, the cherry on the icing, the bingo, the bonanza. I am not here today to talk to you about death benefit. We're talking about cash value. Just know that death benefit is above and beyond everything that we're talking about. It just makes this vehicle so much better. But we're meeting today to talk about cash, okay? When we have an individual strategy call, we could go into the great details of death benefit, all right? But it only makes it better. So you would think I would want to spend time talking about all the stuff that makes it better. Well, no, I want to talk about why we're meeting today is the cash value. And yes, everything else is just a plus and a bonus. Okay, I blew this screen up a little bit. All right. This person, okay, on the left, all it is time, year 1 to 8, 9 to 13. Age and death benefit are grayed out. It doesn't matter. We'll talk about them on another call or part 2 of this, or when you go watch my full presentation, you'll see more of that. $10,000 a year this person is putting into the policy. That's their number, not my number. If you don't like it, take off a 0 or add a 0, times it by 2, divide it by 4, whatever it is you want to do, your number. Okay. So $10,000 a year for 7 years. Now, what we're going to do is he's going to go buy a car at the end of the 3rd year, beginning of the 4th year, okay, for $25,000. Now, let me be clear. In this example, we're waiting to the end of the 3rd year, beginning of the 4th year to use the money in the policy. In real life, I want you to start using that money immediately. Look at the cash value available in year 1. Okay. Just know this. If you use the money earlier, if you play honest banker with yourself, the numbers that are on the screen that I'm about to go over with you would be way greater is if you use the policy earlier for the things you're buying in life anyway. Just trust me on that. Okay. Just trust me. And like, well, Brent, I don't want to trust you. Well, then go do the research and go Google my name, Brent Kesler with 1 S. Go Google the money multiplier and watch the hours and hours and hours of plan designs, case studies, success stories, testimonials. You can spend a week going through all of the material and the examples I have out there. All right. In this example, he's putting in $10,000 a year. He's going to now go out and buy a $25,000 car at the end of the 3rd year, beginning of the 4th year. And what he's going to do is he's going to pay himself back for that money that he just borrowed from himself on the car. And he's going to pay himself back with interest. So what he's doing is he's going to pay himself back $500 a month or $6,000 a year for 5 years. So he borrows 25, pays back 30. Let me ask you this question. Is it a good idea if you borrow money from yourself that you pay yourself back with interest? Absolutely it is. But do you ever do it? No. I don't even know you, and I know what you do. You go take money out of whatever account it's in. You go buy the crap that you want to buy. You never, ever have a system to pay yourself back, much less pay yourself back with interest. I know you don't do it, do you? But when you borrow money from a bank and they charge you interest and they have a payment schedule, you never miss a beat. You always pay them back. Why do you do that? What you're doing is you're treating your money. Okay, the thing you're doing is you're treating the bank's money better than your money. From now on, going forward, here's what you have to start doing. You have to treat your money the same way you treat a bank's money. Because if you don't, you're saying your money is not as valuable as the bank's money. So that's all I'm saying is treat your money the same way you treat a bank's money. Okay, now, Remember I said I'm going to show you how to get all the money back for all the cars you're going to buy, drive, and own. Let me ask you this question. I want you to think of right now in your life where you are. The car that you're driving right now, is that the only car you've ever owned? Or is this your second, third, fourth, or fifth car? Are you married? Does your spouse like to drive? Are they on their first car? Or have they gone through many cars? You have kids that drive. You have cousins that drive, brothers, sisters, parents. Think of all the cars that are in your family. Oh, and also the car that you're driving today for all of those people that I just mentioned. Is this the last car you and them will ever buy, drive, and own? No. You're going to continue to go through life buying and driving and owning cars just like you have been, because the car is going to wear out. You're going to get sick of it, and you're going to get another one. Okay. So unless you're 16, 17, 18, you're probably not on your first car. So out of all the cars that you've ever driven, bought, and owned up to this point in your life, how much of the money do you have today? Here's a hint: zero. Does anyone on this call have any more than zero for all the cars you've ever bought, driven, and owned? No. So if I do nothing else but show you how to get part or maybe all the money back, has it been a pretty good day? I would say so. Okay, let's continue on. Let's look at year 1 to 8 and see what we did. In 8 years, we put in 10 times 7 is 70,000. We paid back for the first car. 6 times 5 is 30. So we have put $100,000 into this concept. But we took out 25 to buy the car. So if I put in 100 and took out 25, put in 100 and took out 25, how much more money did I put in than I took out? Well, 100 minus 25 is 75,000. That is right. 75,000 is my true injection into the policy. How much cash do I have in the policy in the 8th year? 73,226. Oh, so that means if you take 73,226, divide it into the 75,000, which is your true net injection, you just got back 96 cents or 96% of every dollar for that first car. How would you like to have 96% of every dollar for every car you've bought, driven, and owned up to this point of your life? Is there anything stupid, ridiculous, or idiotic that I'm doing? No, man. All I did is bought a life insurance policy, and I'm using it to buy the car. You are going to buy the car anyway. All I've done is I've added one step in my financial life. One step. I'm not working harder. I'm not changing my cash flow, taking any additional risk, or losing control. I simply added one step. Okay, let's go to year 9 to 13, okay? Just look at year 9 to 13 only. So in year 9, we go out and buy another car for $25,000. Why do we buy another car? Because maybe that car wore out. Maybe you're tired of driving it, or maybe you're married and your spouse has been tired of walking for the last 5 years and it's time to get them a car now. So you go and get another car, $25,000. Where does that money come from? It comes from the $73,000 of cash value. I no longer in this example am putting premium into the policy. In real life, you would never want to do that. But and clients never stop paying premium into the policy, because when they see the magic of how this works and how their money multiplies, they never ever want to stop paying that premium. But in this example, I want to isolate the car loan. So I'm saying no more premium. Just know that if you continue to put premium into the policy, the numbers would be way bigger than what I'm showing you right here. Okay, 9 to 13, year 9 to 13. We took out 25, no more premium, and we're going to pay ourselves back just like we did on the first car, $500 a month, $6,000 a year for 5 years, a total of $30,000. So what did we do between year 9 and 13? Well, we put in 6 times 5 is 30. We took out 25, put in 30, took out 25, put in 30, took out 25. So how much more did we put in than we took out? 30 minus 25 is $5,000. That's right. So our net injection between year 9 and 13 was $5,000. Well, that is true. How much cash do we have in our policy? Oh, look at year 13 cash value, 95,000 and some change. So our policy grew from 73 to 95. That is a $22,000 growth with a $5,000 net injection. How do you like buying cars my way? Is there anything stupid, ridiculous, or idiotic that I'm doing? No, man. All I did is I bought a stupid ass life insurance policy and I'm using it to buy the car. You're going to buy the car anyway. We've only added one step in our financial life. Oh, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Brent, that wasn't very nice. Why did you use the word ass? Well, the reason I use the word ass is because I see all of you guys, 2 of you are texting, somebody's washing the dishes, another one's burping the baby. So now since I used the word ass, that got your attention back to the screen, back to my presentation. I don't know what it is about the word ass, but it brings you right back up to paying attention again. So thank you for that. All right. Now, watch this. Watch this. Let's see what we've been doing for 13 years. Now, how fast has 13 years gone in your life? I will tell you, I'm 56 years old. It seems like just yesterday I was 43. It goes by quick, does it not? And the older I get, the quicker it goes. And I'm going to assume that is true for most of you. The older you get, the faster time goes, right? Back when I was 16, 17, 18, I was like, come on, man, let's go. Let's have time go. I can't wait to do this or do that. Why is time going so slow? Not anymore. Not anymore. Time goes way, way, way faster. Okay, let's look and see what we did in 13 years. In year 1 to 8, I put in 10 times 7 is 70. In year 9 to 13, I put in 6 times 5 is 30. So 130,000 is what I put in, right? But I took out 25,000 in year 4 to buy the car and 25,000 in year 9 to buy the car. So that's 50,000. So if I put in 130 and took out 50, put in 130 and took out 50, that means my net injection is $80,000, right? 80,000. That's right. How much cash do I have in the policy, cash value, in year 13? It's okay to say it. That's right, $95,000. Well, wait a minute, Brent. Are you saying I put in 130, took out 50, so my net injection is 80, and now I have 95,000 of cash in the policy? Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. And if it's true, which it is, how much did that car cost you to own, drive, and use? If your net injection is 80 and you have 95, how much did the car cost you to own, drive, and use? Well, my simple chiropractic mind says 0. As a matter of fact, I'm $15,000 ahead. And not only are you $15,000 ahead in cash, guess what else you have? You have 2 cars sitting on the driveway, a 5-year-old car and a 10-year-old car that you've owned, driven, and used the entire time. You can still own the car, drive the car, use the car. You can sell it, give it away, donate it, whatever you want. So not only do you have the money, but you also have the car. And also you have that death benefit that's going to go to a beneficiary in your program, that's going to go to a beneficiary from your policy when you die, pass, or graduate. It's not an if you die, pass, or graduate. You all have an expiration date, me included. We just don't know when it is. You are going to die, pass, or graduate. I like to use the word graduate instead of die or pass. You use whatever word you want, but that death benefit money goes to your beneficiaries tax-free as well. But remember, we're not getting into the death benefit, but that only makes things better. We're only talking about the cash. So did I just show you how to get all the money back on all the cars you're going to buy, drive, and own for the rest of your life? And if I can do this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for a $25,000 car, could I do the same thing for a $2,500 computer? Absolutely. Take off 1 0 in every column, and there's your number. What about a $250 pair of shoes? Could I do it for a $250 pair of shoes? Absolutely. Take off 2 zeros, and there's your numbers. What about a $250,000 house? Could I do it? Yes. Add a 0 to all the numbers. It doesn't matter what it is. You are now turning every liability into an asset, every depreciating asset into an appreciating asset. You are now recycling and recapturing all the dollars that are going out to everybody that you're spending money on. So not only do you get the product and service that you're buying, you're also recycling and recapturing that money. Have you guys ever heard of a guy named Robert Kiyosaki? A lot of you guys are into real estate on this call today, so hopefully you know who Robert Kiyosaki is. Robert Kiyosaki wrote a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He also wrote another book called Second Chance. In that book that Robert Kiyosaki wrote called Second Chance, this is exactly what Robert Kiyosaki talks about. This same concept. The only problem is when he explains it, they make it too complicated to understand, too difficult to follow. Have you ever heard of a guy named Tony Robbins? Tony Robbins wrote a book called Money Master the Game. In chapter 5.4 of that Tony Robbins book, chapter 5.4 of that Tony Robbins book, Money Master the Game, this is exactly what Tony Robbins talks about. But again, they make it too complicated to understand, and you read right through it and don't understand what in the hell is going on, and you never implement it. Just like when I first saw this in 2006, I sat on the sidelines for 2 years because I didn't believe it. All right, there's 3 rules you have to follow. Rule number 1, up there under policy premium deposit, pay yourself first. Pay yourself first. Now look, you all have heard the term pay yourself first, but it goes in one ear and out the other. See, I don't even know you or know what you do with your money. Okay? But I know exactly what you do. Every time you get money in, whether it comes as active income, passive income, investment income, whether it comes from your job that you're working, whether you get a check in the mail from grandma on your birthday, you take that money, you put it into somebody else's bank, and guess what you do with that money first? You pay everybody else. You pay the house people, the car people, the student loan people, the food, the travel, the entertainment. You pay your taxes, your charitable giving. You pay for Bobby's soccer practice, Susie's piano lessons, and you hope there's money left over for you. No, ma'am, you got to stop. You have to pay yourself first. Pay yourself first and pay everybody else after that. Rule number 2, pay yourself with interest. Pay yourself with interest. When you go take your own money, you go buy a car, pay yourself back with interest. Just like you would take the money from a bank, you would pay them back with interest. Treat your money the same way you treat a bank's money. If you don't, you're just simply saying your money is not as valuable as the bank's money. Rule number 3, recycle and recapture all of the dollars that are going out. The money needs to stay in the family where there is no money being leaked out to other people. Recycle and recapture that money. So 3 rules: pay yourself first, pay yourself with interest, recycle and recapture. If this works for a car, what else? Anything. It's infinite. Hence maybe why they call it the infinite banking concept. There's 2 other books as resources that you need to add to your wealth building library. I've given you a total of 4 books now today, right? I've given you 4 books: Second Chance, Robert Kiyosaki, Tony Robbins, Money Master the Game. Okay, now I'm almost done. I'm just going to 5 minutes and I'm going to get finished up here with some housekeeping stuff. Okay, 5 to 7 minutes and I'm going to be done. First of all, this that you see on your screen is called the Money Multiplier map. I'm not going to go through that on this presentation, but I'm going to show you how you can watch it. For all of our clients, we design you this map. Not only did we design you one map, we update that map 2 to 3 times a year for you. Why do we update it 2 to 3 times a year? Because wherever you're at in your financial life today, it's not where you were 1, 5, and 10 years ago, and it's not going to be where you're at 1, 5, and 10 years from now, because you're going to go through life just like you've been doing. You buy things, sell things, windfalls, downfalls, raises, and demotions. We create this money multiplier map for you. Now, you're probably thinking, Brent, this stuff is pretty cool. I would maybe like to do this in my life, but I would like to see how this works in my own situation. Fantastic. In just a minute, I'm going to show you how you can see more information, schedule a strategy call with a money mentor. But just know, and then I'm sure you're thinking, well, Brent, how much does this cost me? What do I pay you to do this, right? That's your question. I get it. You're never going to write me a check or my company, the Money Multiplier, a check for a dime, ever, ever. You see, here's how I get paid. I get paid one way only. I get paid the same way your car insurance guy or gal gets paid. For example, let's say you go to John Smith, the Allstate man, to buy car insurance. Well, the check that you write is not to John Smith. You write the check to Allstate, and Allstate pays John Smith a commission. So I am a licensed life insurance agent in every single state of the country. I have over 13,000 clients in every state of the country, adding on new clients every week in the tunes of about 60 to 80 new clients every week, 200 to 300 new clients every month. Okay, so that number continues to go up. All referral, all word of mouth, all from presentations just like this, right? So I don't do advertising, I don't do marketing. It's all word of mouth, all referral. That's why you're on listening today, because somebody referred you to come to listen to this presentation. You never pay me a dime. I get paid a commission from the insurance company. The commission that I get paid is not determined by you, the client, and it's not determined by me, the agent. It's determined by the insurance company. The reason you want to do this with us in the Money Multiplier and not your brother-in-law that sells life insurance is because your brother-in-law does not understand how this concept works. And if your brother-in-law did understand, or if you go to your brother-in-law that sells life insurance after this presentation and say, hey, I just listened to this guy, Brent, at the Money Multiplier. He talked about this book, Becoming Your Own Banker, R. Nelson Nash, and your brother-in-law says, oh, yeah, I understand that. I can help you with that. Well, my first question would be, why haven't you told me about it already? Why am I coming to you and asking? Okay. But even if they do understand, even if they understand the concept, they do not want you to have this type of policy. This is not the type of policy they want to design for you. And the reason is because to design your policy this way in a specially designed, specifically engineered whole life policy in a mutual company that pays dividends, the insurance agent has to take a 60 to a 90 a 60 to 90% cut in their commission, and they're not willing to do it. They're not willing to take that cut in their commission. This is all we do. We are 100% infinite banking concept, and we design policies that is going to work with that method. So if you're not interested in high cash value policies and being able to use money immediately from your policy, then we're not the ones to work with. I guess I should have probably told you that about like 53 minutes ago, right? Okay, let's move on. You're probably thinking, well, Brent, why haven't I heard about this before? Who actually does this? Well, let me give you a little bit of backstory. Go out and research this article. I found it on ESPN.com, and it was actually November 16th, 2016, when I first looked at this article. I was about to give a presentation, just like I'm giving now, a live presentation in Denver, Colorado, and this article came up on ESPN.com. Why was I looking at ESPN.com? Because I'm a sports nut, and November 16th is a great time of year to look at sports. And it says here, cash value life insurance makes Jim Harbaugh one of college football's top paid coaches. Because here's what's happening is the University of Michigan is compensating Jim Harbaugh through a whole life policy that pays dividends. So what does that mean? Jim Harbaugh gets his salary plus other benefits on top of that, and the University of Michigan is able to recycle and recapture all of the money that they are paying the coach. The money never leaves the family of the University of Michigan. How cool is that? And if you know anything about college football in 2016, this coach was not winning the games he should have been winning, and it was a good thing they were getting the money back on the guy, right? But in the last couple of years, he's done much better. Walt Disney, look at this. Walt Disney failed in the pursuit of traditional means of financing. You know what that means? It means Walt Disney walked into a bank and said, hey, I got a great idea. It's called Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. I want to borrow some money. The bank said, well, no, we're not loaning you money for Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. So what did Walt Disney do? He had to take a collaterally borrow. He had to take a loan. He had to collaterally borrow from his life insurance policy in order to fund Walt Disney World. Who knows if Walt Disney World would even be here today if it wasn't for whole life insurance with cash value. Ray Kroc, same thing with McDonald's. He borrowed from his 2 cash value life insurance policies to cover salaries of key employees, and he also used some of that money for an advertising campaign for a mascot called Ronald McDonald. Have you guys seen Ronald McDonald lately? Where's he at anyway? Pampered Chef. There was a lady, Doris Christopher. She started this business in 1980 in Chicago. In order to start this business, Pampered Chef, she had to borrow $3,000 from her life insurance policy, which she later sold the company to Warren Buffett for $1.5 billion with a B dollars. Who knows if Pampered Chef would have ever even started without the money to be able to start it. There's your President Joe Biden. This article is about 10 years old, June of 2014. Biden says he has no stocks, bonds, or savings account, but at the time of this writing 10 years ago, he had 6 policies with a life insurance company that we do business with. Who knows 10 years later how many life insurance he owns now? Or maybe Hunter owns them all. Anyway, I usually lose a few. Oh yeah, look, a couple people just dropped off with that joke. I usually lose a few of you with that joke, but it's okay. We're close to the end. All right, Stanford University, J.C. Penney, Foster Farms. Look, there's many, many more. Go do the research. Now that you know this information, everybody should do it, because if you don't do it, not only are you stealing from yourself, your spouse, your children, your grandchildren, and future generations to come, because you're letting money leave the family. You're letting money leave the family. Look, have you guys ever heard of a guy named Warren Buffett? Yeah. I don't know when Warren Buffett said this, but I heard this in October of 2008. And this is a quote that I think about almost every day of my life. And I don't like complicated things at all. I like to keep things simple. And here's what Warren Buffett said in October of 2008 that I think about almost every day in my life. How simple is this? Warren Buffett says, if poor people would just do what rich people do, they wouldn't be poor anymore. How much sense does that make, man? All we're going to do is mimic and imitate what the wealthy have been doing for well over 250 years. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're just going to do what they do and follow the concept and the principles. Go out and research everything you can about this concept. Only 1 or 2 things are going to happen to every one of us on this call in the next 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months, 5, 10, 20, 30, 50 years. We're either going to live or we're going to die. I like to use the word graduate, but you use whatever word you want. If we live, are we better off with or without this concept I just shared with you? Hopefully you say with. If we die, not if, when we die, remember we all have an expiration date. When we pass, die, or graduate, is our family better off with or without this concept? Well, yeah, with, because of the death benefit. Oh, by the way, how much today did I even talk about death benefit? Hardly at all. How much did I really even talk about life insurance? None, really, right? Life insurance is the vehicle that we're going to use to build, keep, and create wealth. If I could build, keep, and create wealth talking about water bottles, I would be saying, let's go get some water bottles. But that's not the vehicle that we're going to use to build, keep, and create wealth. And if you have a better one with these features and benefits, please let me know what it is. And maybe I'll stop teaching this and start teaching what you tell me. Policies are exempt from liens and judgments in most states. I won't get into this, but go look up O.J. Simpson and go look up Ken Lay with Enron. There's many more. If you want more on that, ask me. The internal growth of the policy grows tax-free. Look, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you have to pay tax, yes? But when we pay tax, what do we want to do? We want to pay tax one time only at the lowest rate possible. We want to get that money into a tax-free environment, and we want to get the government completely out of our hair. Do we not? Absolutely. The loan on the policy never has to be paid back. You do not have to pay back the policy loan. In other words, the insurance company, whenever you request a loan, they do not ask you, why do you want to take a loan? And they do not ask you if you plan on paying it back. They don't care. The insurance company can never, ever lose because Your loan is simply a prepayment of the death benefit. The cash value of the policy, the loan available of the policy, is always less than the death benefit. The death benefit is greater, and you are guaranteed to die, pass, or graduate, not an if, a when. And when the time of death comes, what happens is if you have any loans on your policy, the death benefit will pay off that policy loan. The addition, because again, they've given you that money while you're living, and the additional money will go to your beneficiaries tax-free. So essentially, what are you doing? You're using a portion of your death benefit while you're living. How cool is that? Now, why are we doing this? There's a lot of reasons we're doing this, but here's one.
I wanna be a billionaire, so freaking bad. Buy all of the things I never had.
Okay, look, if this is something that you want to do, maybe, or maybe you just want more information, here's what I want you to do. Okay. Oh, before I go there, go ahead and send me an email if you want, brent@themoneymultiplier.com, and I'll send you the ebook, Mapping Out the Millionaire Mystery. You can go to our website, themoneymultiplier.com. Okay. And you can watch this full recorded presentation. Just click on Watch Brent Now. I would also urge you, my daughter Hannah, which also teaches and speaks this all around the country. Her name is Hannah, Hannah. Hannah has over 108 podcasts out there, and she records a podcast every week. About a month or so ago, her podcast just went live on iHeartRadio. Go follow what she's doing. The guy that wrote the book with me, Chris Naugle, Naugle. Chris Naugle lives in Buffalo, New York. Go to chrisnaugle.com. Chris does a Wealth Wednesday webinar every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. He does a segment called Ask Me Anything, where people rapid fire questions at 4:30 Eastern Time every Wednesday. Go follow everything that Chris Naugle is doing. Go out. There's lots of content. There's a guy named Burr, Devin Burr. On Instagram, it's Mr_Burr, MR_Burr, BRRRR. So Devin shows you how he buys all of his real estate, makes all of his real estate investments, and he uses the money over and over and over again. He lives in Phoenix, Arizona. Go follow Devin. He has about 1 million followers on TikTok, Instagrams, all the social media stuff that I don't understand. So this last page here, right here, take a picture of that. There is my texting number right there, 785-248-9637. My email, brent@themoneymultiplier.com. If you want to schedule a strategy call, there's the calendar to go and schedule it, or send us an email and we'll connect you with a money mentor. And to view the full presentation, which I didn't go over it all today, right? To view the entire presentation in the entirety, and to get all the handouts and everything that go along with the numbers, go to the website, themoneymultiplier.com, click on Watch Brent Now. The last thing I'll say is I speak all around the country on this concept. Go watch and see where I'm speaking. A lot of you guys know Pace Morby that are in the real estate community. Myself, my daughter, we're in the Pace Morby community. A lot of other events that are out there, real estate events, network marketing events, dentists, orthodontists, chiropractors, doctors, business owners. We are also willing to come out live and speak to your event. If you think this information would be useful, we're willing to speak and sponsor, doing Zoom calls, webinars, podcasts, or whatever. We are here to serve you. Tons of information out there. Go do the research, and we hope to hear from you soon. Maria, I'll throw it back to you. I don't know if any questions were in the chat. I'm happy to answer chat questions or live questions, or I can be done, either or. You tell me, Maria. Thank you for having me on. Are we on, Maria?
I'm here. I was checking
Okay.
if anyone had any questions. I was trying to see. Um,
So hey, I'm glad you're on. You scared me there for a minute. I'm like, uh-oh,
no,
we lost connection, and I
I
did
thought I
this
had
whole
my
thing to
mic.
myself.
No, no, please not. I was so amused by your presentation. It was amazing. I thought I had my microphone on. Sorry.
Thank you.
Um, Thank you for sharing this amazing webinar. It was super interesting. I don't know if people find it interesting as well that they don't have any questions. And it was super easygoing. I don't know, people. Oh, here we have one. Um, which insurance companies we buy from?
Yeah,
Someone is
no, great
asking.
question. Thanks for that question. And I'm over here, pick me, pick me, pick me, right? Now, I am not the insurance company, but anytime you do this, you have to buy an insurance policy, right? So hopefully with this information, you're going to buy the policy from us at the Money Multiplier. So I am a producer, I'm a licensed agent for several insurance companies, right? So the companies that we use to do this, and I'm going to name them for you. One company is called One America, sometimes referred to as American United Life. They're located in Indianapolis, Indiana. If you've ever been downtown Indianapolis, there's these big buildings that says One America. That is one of the companies. Our agency is the #1 producer for One America in the entire country. The other company is Lafayette Life. They're located anyway, they're located in Cincinnati, Ohio, a part of Western and Southern. So Lafayette Life. Another one is Security Mutual Life of New York. Their headquarters in Binghamton, New York. Another one is Penn Mutual, and another one is Guardian. So those are the 5 primary companies that we use. Now, all companies are good. They've all been around for 100+ years, paying dividends for 100+ years. I own policies with all the companies, right? Many of our clients own policies with multiple companies. Every company is good, so I'm not married to one company compared to another. But the reason that one company may be better for you than another company, it has to do with the state that you live in. For example, with the state of New York, if you live in New York, only 2 of those 5 companies we can do business with, right? And also it depends on your age and your health maybe as well, and what the underwriting process is going to be. Is one company going to be more lenient than the other, right? So there are some criteria that goes into play, but even you as the client, let's say you want to do a policy and you want to do it with this company and we write for them, that's fine. That's the one we'll use, and we'll tell you the pros and cons of maybe why you should use or not use that company. But generally, right, there's not pros and cons. Eventually we get policies with other companies. So I hope that answers that. And then I see here, what do you think about New York Life and Transamerica? Well, first of all, New York Life is not going to allow you to design the policy this way, okay? Yes, it's a fine company. New York Life is a fine company, but they're not going to allow you to design the policy for the immediate cash value this way. And if you want more information on that, Chris Naugle, who I told you about, who I wrote the book with, Chris Naugle was a financial advisor for New York Life for 16 years. He was for 16 years, and New York Life never taught him about this concept, and New York Life did not allow him to talk and promote and sponsor this concept. So I'll let you follow up with Chris Naugle on that. And Transamerica, the quick answer is no. And let me just tell you about Transamerica. Transamerica, and again, I don't want to speak out of context here, but Transamerica is not going to have you design a whole life policy. They're going to have you do something called an IUL, an Index Universal Life Policy. You never, ever, ever, ever want to do this infinite banking concept with an IUL policy. Now, look, I can sell you an IUL policy. You can buy an IUL policy from me, and I can make a very nice commission on it. But I will never sell you an IUL policy because I would never buy one myself. And to even go further, we have several content out there, videos that compare whole life to IUL. Compare whole life to IUL. Even in the book, Nelson Nash book, Becoming Your Own Banker, you know, if I'm telling you, if you ever think you want to use an IUL for infinite banking concept, Nelson Nash would roll over in his grave. You just don't want to do it for lots of different reasons. If you want the resources on why not to, and you want the video, just, okay, send me an email, Brent@themoneymultiplier.com, and say, hey, can you give me your resources on IUL versus whole life? And I'll send you those links. I don't know where they are off the top of my head, but I'll get someone on my team to send you those links. But great question. Any other questions? You're welcome. I see. Thank you. You're welcome. Any other questions at all, live or on the chat box? I did that great of a job?
You did. You certainly did. Oh, here we have another one.
Is life insurance and whole life insurance the same? Well, anyway, so life insurance, right? There's several forms of life insurance. For example, there's whole life insurance, there's variable life insurance, there's term life insurance, there's universal life, there's index universal life. All of these are a form of life insurance. Why do we use whole life insurance in a mutual company that pays dividends? Well, the reason we use a mutual company is because we want you to make the profits and the dividends, not the stockholders or the shareholders. For example, like in a conventional bank, there's stockholders and shareholders. They're making the profits and the dividends on your money. In a whole life insurance company, in a whole life policy in a mutual company, the word mutual means is you are part owner. You don't own the company. You own that contract, which means you are first in line and you're the ones that is making the profits and the dividends, not other people. And the reason we're using whole life is because you want to have guaranteed tax-free growth. Every life insurance policy that we use, a whole life policy that we use, has guaranteed growth. In other words, today's better than yesterday. Tomorrow is better than today. It's not me telling you that. That is in your policy contract. So before you ever accept, sign, and pay for your policy, you will see the numbers in the policy growth. Well, for example, in an IUL policy that we were just talking about, an index universal life policy, it's not like that. You do not have guaranteed growth. As a matter of fact, in an IUL policy, you can lose every single dollar that you put into it because the cost of insurance cannot keep up with the policy. And if you don't believe that, or your agent says that's not true, you have them show you every page of the illustration. And I want you to go to the left-hand side of a policy illustration for an IUL policy, and you will see the number continues to go down. The cash value, the loan availability, and the death benefit, they decrease and they go all the way down to zero. You can lose every single dollar that you have put into that policy. In a whole life policy, in a mutual company that pays dividends, it only goes up. It is guaranteed to go up. Tomorrow is always guaranteed to be better than today. Next year is always guaranteed to be better than this year. So I hope that helps. Thank you for the questions. Anything else? Oh, here we go. The mutual funds invest the money we put, profit for an order, guarantee our benefit. Okay, so here's what the insurance company does with your money. Great question, okay? The insurance company takes premium dollars in, right? And the thing they do with those dollars is they go out and use that money. And about 80% of that money goes to investment grade bonds and mutual funds. About 7% of that money, the insurance company sends out to home and commercial mortgages. A lot of big real estate developments or shopping centers are financed by bulks of money from the insurance company. About another 7% is policy loans to their policy holders, what we're talking about. So they loan money to the policy holders, right? You are first in position. And then also the other 7% is actually in a low interest bearing account, almost equivalent to cash. And the reason is because when death occurs, the insurance company has to pay out that death benefit in a timely manner. So one more time, 80% goes to investment grade bonds, okay? And about a net and about another 7% is policy loans, another 7%, which is a little higher risk, is home and commercial mortgages, and another 7% is in a low interest bearing account, almost equivalent to cash. So that's what the insurance company does with the money. But remember, you have first right to your money. So even if you go knocking on the door and say, Mr. Insurance Company, I want to take all my cash value from my insurance policy, you are number one. No matter where they have that money out at, if they have it in any of those other areas and they don't have enough to give you, they got to go get it from there and they got to give it to you within that timely manner within 30 days. So you are in number one position. Nobody outranks you. So I hope that answers that. And then the next question I see, can whole life, is it untouchable when bankruptcy? Well, let me just say this, okay? I have never seen any client lose any of their cash value in their policy due to bankruptcy. I've never seen it happen. And as I stated in my presentation, life insurance is protected against lawsuits and judgments in most states, okay? If you live in California, then you have to form what we call a collateral assignment to make it protected. More on that later. But generally, the general answer to that question, and I'm not just saying California only, there's a couple other states too. I don't remember what they are off the top of my head. If I'm guessing, I'm going to say Minnesota and New York, but I'm just guessing. But in those cases, and believe me, we have many clients in those states, California especially, you would form a collateral assignment on the policy to make it protected, okay? Now, I don't want that to be a general term that I'm saying, yeah, it's protected, because let me just say this, depending on your issues, and I don't think bankruptcy, I mean, yeah, it's an issue, but it's not an issue like, for example, if the IRS is chasing you down for money. If you owe taxes and you're avoiding or evading taxes, and the IRS gets wind of you having money and cash value in your policies, could they go in and get it? I am a firm believer the IRS can do whatever the hell they want to do when they want to do it. The government can do it whenever they want, when they do it, right? So I don't know. I've never seen that happen. But if the IRS is chasing you for money and you're running from them, I would not be going to sleep with a warm, fuzzy feeling saying, oh, I'm not going to worry about the IRS because all my money is in the policy. That's just me. I may be totally wrong, but I'm a little overcautious on stuff like that. So, and can a non-US citizen buy whole life insurance policy? The answer is yes, but there is criteria that goes along with that. And our team can explain to you what that is. You would have to use a US bank account in order to buy a US policy. For example, the thing is that a lot of our clients are in other countries, but they have a vested interest in the US. We also do a lot of business with clients in Canada. We have a Canadian colleague that does all the Canadian stuff, that does it for us. It's the same thing that we're doing. It's just there's some other criteria that go into the mix, okay? But just know that yes, you have to have a US bank account, and there has to be well, again, I'm just going to leave it at that. You have to have a US bank account, and if you're in Canada, you'd have to have a Canadian bank account. But again, there's probably more to that question if you are not a US citizen. And what we'll do is we'll tell you all of that criteria, before we ever submit your policy, because the last thing we want to do is waste your time and waste our time and the insurance company time if it's going to go nowhere. Oh, now I see you say I'm Canadian. No problem. If you're Canadian, you're fine. We got you covered. The thing we'll do is we'll just send you to our Canadian counterpart that we work with. The Canadian counterpart, we do their US business, they do our Canadian business. So you'll be in great hands there. So just send me an email, brent@themoneymultiplier.com, and I'll get you that information so you can get linked up with our Canadian counterpart. Great question. Thanks for asking. Anything else? Anything else? All right, Maria, you want to call it a wrap?
Yes. Thank you so much, Brent. This was an amazing presentation. And thank you everybody for attending and for sharing your concerns. Feel free to reach Brent to his email address and phone number on the screen. And thank you, Brent. We expect you in future webinars. It was amazing to have you with us today. I hope you have a wonderful day, everybody.
All right. Thank you all. Thanks everybody for being on. I appreciate it. I'm here to serve you. Have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Thank you. Bye.